but as a martial art, it does carry with it potential injury risks. One serious one is injury to the knee. But can you even do BJJ with bad knees? I went to the internet to research the answer. Always get a medical's expert's opinion on doing BJJ with bad knees, but it's tough to do BJJ with a knee problem as it changes from person to person. Strengthening your knees via stretches and exercise will reduce the risk of knee injuries happening, as well as wearing a knee brace when doing BJJ. Because I see a lot of people in my jiu-jitsu class who have knee problems and they wear knee braces. You definitely can do BJJ with a bad knee, but I think in comparison to other martial arts and other injuries you could possibly have, doing jiu-jitsu with a bad knee is pretty bad, but it's definitely possible.
What is going on, guys? It's Dylan, aka the Combat Sports Guy. This channel is going to have everything combat sports related. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, please like and subscribe and comment down below any other questions you want answered. We're going to do videos every Monday and Friday.
Truth be told, BJJ is not the best martial art for people with knee problems. But a lot of people, BJJ athletes, including my main BJJ coach, have knee problems. You know, it's a common thing for wrestlers, all that damage to the knees, all the takedowns, knee problems are going to happen. I'll explain how to deal with knee issues and how to prevent knee problems from happening. What causes knee pain. If your knees hurt and you haven't had an injury, then likely your knees are in proper alignment, which is unhealthy for your knees and leads to injuries over time. The knee will hurt as the knee joint is located between very mobile points, the hip above or tutu typo and the ankle below. To understand, here's some basic anatomy to understand. The knee is a hinge joint designed to flex and extend and is most resistant to injury when it's in straight alignment. Think your kneecap pointing in the direction of your toes to be the best position, and unfortunately in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, your knee will be in this position, making a lot of injuries happen. Basically what this is happening, is if your foot is pointing to the same direction as your knee is, that's the strongest your knee can be. Whereas if your foot is pointing in a different direction to where your knee is pointing, that's where the injuries can happen. And you can see in this Bates.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bates.
And this video, he goes into a lot more detail about the specific knees, but I'm gonna summarize mainly what he says. So I'll talk about the different makeup of your knee and what positions in jiu-jitsu will likely cause damage to happen. Understanding why your knee hurts is key to treating the injury so you can be healthy in everyday life to prepare yourself for jiu-jitsu class. Like in my opinion, if you're doing jiu-jitsu or you want to do jiu-jitsu and you have knee problems, really do the things I'm going to talk about before you start doing jiu-jitsu class, because if you already have pre-existing knee issues and then boom, you start training, you know, it could make it a lot worse. So get your knees into as healthy as they can be before you start training jiu-jitsu, because it is pretty hurt on your knees, pretty damaging. You need to address all aspects of the knee to reduce pain, prevent swelling, and stop early arthritis. So pay attention to everything, as your knee pain might involve more than one muscle part. Because usually with the knee, there's many different things. You know, your body's never. If you have lower back problems, for example, and check this video that I'll link, where if you can do BJJ with lower back problems, it's not your lower back. It's usually tight hamstrings, weak glutes, and it's the same thing for the knee. So the tibia. The tibia is a flat bone located under the kneecap, and is where you should knee in MMA and Muay Thai. This part of the knee. So it's kind of like the middle part of the shin. So you have the MCL. MCL is a stabilizing structure for the entire knee, and injuries happen when there's outside pressure going inwards, causing the knee to twist. In BJJ, this happens during the knee slice or when your foot gets caught in a heel hook. So a knee slice is when you're trying to pass someone's guard, and this is pretty bad position for your knee to be in, and obviously causes the MCL damage. And I'll link my article down below, and you can check out this WebMD article about MCL, the problems and how to treat it. So now you have the LCL, lateral collateral alignment. So I think it's the flesh above the kneecap and the hamstring. So the LCL is a band of tissue that sits along the outside of your knee, which helps to hold the bones together so your knee joints are stable. Again, see this article in my post by WebMD for more information. The pain will be achy and can last weeks or even months after the injury. The sport doctor in the video above recommends surgery, as living with this pain is very difficult. This position happens from de la riva and lasso guard, as since you're in the bottom position, if your legs twist outward, this can cause an injury. Patella is the kneecap. Oh, that's some dusty looking patella. I've never had severe knee cane in BJJ, but I've knee cane cap frame from single and double leg takedowns, as your knee is under a lot of force quickly. Again, check out this WebMD article on patella health here. Yeah, like with the nature of wrestling, grappling in general, you're going to do a lot of takedowns, a lot of transitioning. Bursa is a fluid sac that when inflamed can cause pain and limit your mobility. It can occur anywhere on the knee, but most commonly occurs over the kneecap or on the inner side of your joint below the knee. So this dusty looking fluid is bursa. Bursa fluid responds well to ice and wearing a knee brace, such as a high quality shock docker proprietary brace from Amazon is key to stopping inflammation and allowing the bursa to heal. If you want one of the best knee braces you can get, the Pro Fatigue, can't even pronounce it, brace from Amazon is very, very, very useful, and I see a lot of people in my gym wearing it. So if you want to buy this knee brace, I'll put a link down in the description. Again, you can check out WebMD's article here. ACL, so I don't know about you, but I think most people who are into sports, they'll know about the ACL. So this is in soccer, football, American football. It's quite a common injury, I think, in sports. As I said, ACL is the most well-known knee injury, super common in sports like basketball and soccer. The ACL holds the bone together with your knee and is crucial to keeping the new joint stable. When people have ACL injuries or recover after surgery, they say the knee is stable, and then generally it takes 6 to 12 months to recover from an ACL injury. Again, for a complete guide on doing BJJ with injured ACL, check out this article on Grapple Huts. Otherwise, for a list of ACL symptoms and treatments, check out WebMD's article in my post down below. How do you prevent knee injuries? Did you know having tight hips is a big reason why you might have knee pain? So let me explain. There's two ways the femur can rotate within the hip joint. The hip can open towards the outside, which is called external hip rotation, and the hip can open towards the inside, internally. Hip rotation is used all the time in BJJ, from guard retention to shrimping. If your hips are tight, this causes more damage to the knees, as since the hip is a ball and socket joint, it's designed to be mobile. So if your hips can't reach the places they should be on your body will compensate in other areas, namely the lower back and knees. And most people are gonna have hip problems caused by, extending the muscle when you're sitting down, in our culture of desk work. I think most people have tight hips. So obviously, think about it. If you have a ball and socket joint and the hip's designed to, rotate internally and externally, if that stuff's tight, it can't rotate as much. And I really recommend, this guy's my guy, the bodyweight warrior. So just search hip mobility and you have a quick 12-minute YouTube video you can do to, pattern up your hip mobility. I really like this guy. I do a lot of his routines, so I highly recommend him. Strengthening the lower body muscles correlate to less leg injuries. See this article by PubMD that muscle strength is even more important than flexibility to prevent injuries. I've noticed this as well. Posture and balance has been corrected by building muscle in my own life. The problem that a lot of people have with, say for example, weak lower back, in this case weak knees, is they try and stretch. The stretching, usually it's obviously going to be beneficial, but in my opinion, and I think numerous studies that I've read, the research that I've done, you have to strengthen them. Because think about it, for example, I still have rounded posture and it's a long process, a long road to correct it. But stretching my pecs, all that stuff is going to help it, but really and truly, it's the weakness in, my lower traps, the muscles behind my, on the middle of my back. They're too weak to bring the shoulders close, to bring the shoulders down. So the reason, how I would strengthen them is how would I rectify is I would strengthen them. It's the exact same thing with your knees. You have to have strong knees, strong glutes, and that's gonna help your imbalance. See this article by Sam's Journal of Science and Medicine that showcases high quadriceps strength with a lower risk of knee injuries in judo athletes. And since judo is a similar sport to BJJ, check my video here where you can compare if you can cross-train judo and jiu-jitsu. Strengthen the glutes, I don't know why I say glute, butt muscles and hamstrings, muscles behind the leg, are key to preventing knee injuries, and having strong hamstrings could prevent horrible AC tears. Because you've got to think, especially the hamstrings, even if you do squats in gym and you've got, strong quads, if you have the weak hamstrings, which is, the muscle behind the quads, you're way more likely to get hurt. You're way more likely to get injured. So making sure all your lower body's strong, your glutes are strong, your hamstrings are strong. These are key to preventing not just injuries in jiu-jitsu, but injuries in, you know, everyday life. So exercises to reduce injuries. So this is just my summary of all the best exercises you can do. Side plank, this is good for the side butt cheek, the abs, glute bridge, you know, a fantastic exercise for building glutes and just really good for jiu-jitsu in general. Single leg exercises like Romanian deadlift, single leg squat, you know, that's gonna hit the glutes hard, the quads hard, and the hamstrings hard. Hamstring bridge, Nordic hamstring curls, Romanian deadlift. And do knee braces work? So knee braces are inexpensive and comfortable to wear, and I see a lot of people, including my head BJJ coach, wear them. But are they effective treatment to injury? So Michael Bem, MD, an orthopedic surgeon at Piedmont, says there are two main reasons to wear a knee brace. So structural support and pain relief. So knee braces are recommended for people who had an ACL tear or type of knee injury. They can provide added support in the recovery process as they keep the knee stabilized and the knee supported. Knee braces are commonly prescribed by physicians for patients who have an ACL tear or some kind of knee injury. The knee brace can provide added support during the recovery process. So basically what it does is it prevents the knee socket from moving, because what the ACL is meant to be stable, you know, it's not meant to be, you know, moving about. So what this knee brace will do is prevent it from moving and help it heal quicker. It's kind of like, it's the same thing as if you break your arm and you have an arm brace. You know, you don't want your arm to be needlessly moving. It's the same thing with, you know, because your knee is a ball and socket joint. So which ligaments of your knee are damaged? So this is the reasons why. What rehabilitation are you going to do? What sport are you doing? So this quote is from Michael James Burr, and he said the following about knee braces in sports. But do remember he's talking about American football, which has very different movement patterns to BJJ. So a knee brace can help athletes through an injury by providing additional support that will allow him or her to continue with physical activity. Today, many football players wear knee braces to prevent injury. Football players put an extra amount of pressure on the knees because of the sharp turns and lateral movements in the sport. All this movement can move your bodies and ligaments in unnatural ways. Knee braces are proven to be a wise preventive measure in this particular sport. But even then, even if you're doing wrestling or any sort of grappling, because of the explosive nature of the sport, just having that knee brace there is just going to provide adequate support for your ACL to prevent it from being damaged. And especially if you're like my head coach or anyone else who had knee injuries, you really want the ACL to be, you know, solid. And as you see here, you still get a good amount of mobility in the shock dart ultra knee support. Just helps it stop moving and helps you, you know, recover optimally. So this is Dylan, aka the Combat Sports Guys. Please like and subscribe because I'm a very small channel and every little bit helps. Thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful day.